here. Got some kicks. And hopefully this is working. I think we're live, guys. What's good, everybody? Soheil back with Feel Good Threads. As you guys noticed, today's title says testing. I am testing this computer out because we've been having a bunch of crashes on it. So I'm hoping that today it will not happen. Last time I was working on a pair of Jordan 1 sales. This is the pair that I've been working on here. And so far, I've gotten most of the kicks done. But today what I'll be working on is probably one of the more difficult parts of the shoe. And I think a lot of people have frustration with it. And that is the Jordan 1 Wings logo. So if you guys are out there, say what's up. I just want to make sure that the clarity of the audio is good, that you guys could hear me okay, that the visual, that you guys can see everything okay. And then we can get started. With that said, let me just set up some things real quick. Let me tell you guys some real quick background about exactly what I used to get these pair of sale ones to look like this so far. I use just a couple of colors here. Hot pink. Can you guys see that okay? Hot pink and light blue is what I use so far to get obviously the cotton candy kind of a look here. I used a little bit of light gray as well. And today I'm going to be using black by Alpha Flex or Alpha 6 Corporation, Alpha 6 Paint, to be painting both the Wings logo and the swoosh. I think I'm going to start off with the harder part, which is the Wings logo. And I think a lot of people have difficulty working on that little Wings logo because, I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of detail. And I think a lot of people don't take into account how long just doing this small little Wings logo takes. Honestly, I think this takes longer for me to do than most of the shoe. So let's get jumping onto the actual shoe. Before I do, I want to say what's good to Sneaky Ricky Customs. What's good, homie? Patreon family, GTC Reels. Graham, what's good, homie? How you living? I'm hoping that we don't crash today like we did last time. But if we do, I do apologize. And I will get this computer fixed eventually. All right. So let's move the mouse out the way. Let me show you guys the weapons I'll be using today. The tools I'll be using. I've got a 20-0 spotter. This guy right here is like my grail spotter right here because it's so, I don't know, just very easy to use. It's by Princeton. Did I leave Princeton's links up there? Yeah, I did. I put a 12-0 shader, which is very similar to this guy here. But the link is up there on the top if you guys need to get some Princeton brushes. Princeton brushes are pretty much my go-to just because they feel great in hand. The quality on the tips here are amazing. As long as you're taking care of them, these are great brushes, all right? So one other thing I used, and I want to make sure that we're all clear, because I had a lot of questions last time. The computer crashed, and I said, I'm going live somewhere. So we ended up going live on Instagram a couple of days ago, and I continued this process on Instagram. Now, I was doing this with something called flexible additive, okay? Flexible additive, I added a little bit of this. I would say like every 1 drop of this, I added about 4 drops of the paint, okay? You could even do 2 drops to 4 drops, okay? 2-to-1 ratio is what you're kind of looking at. And I use flexible additive because this dude, this young man, he's going to be hooping in these shoes. So I really want to make sure that they stay durable, meaning that, you see spots like the toe box area, he's going to be creasing that quite a bit. So you want to make sure that, if he's pressing down on it, that it doesn't chip off, it doesn't scratch off, Things like that are very important. So from now on, if you guys are using Alpha Flex, I 100% recommend you guys use the Alpha Flex paints with the flexible additive, okay? One other thing I learned, they do have an airbrush line. It's called Alpha Air. Let me show you guys what that looks like. This is Alpha Air. So this can go straight through the airbrush. I do find this is a little thin. You can even see how watery it looks. See how watery it is on the top here? So I found a way for you guys to save some money. All right? So what you can do is, instead of getting Alpha Air, and hopefully Alpha 6 doesn't get mad at me on this, but I want to share this with you guys. You can get Alpha Flex, okay, which is usually you hand paint Alpha Flex. You get the flexible additive. That's just to make sure that the paint stays on the actual shoe. And then what I used was this guy here. It's called a water-based reducer. I'm not sure if it's capped right, and I don't want to drop it all over the shoe, but I used a water-based reducer, and you can see here it says, designed to be used as a thinner or a reducer for Alpha Flex paints. Clean up with soap and water. So I added just a little bit of this to thin out the paint in my airbrush, and then I airbrushed this guy on using Alpha Flex paint instead of Alpha Air. Reason I did that is because I noticed that when you did that method, instead of using an Alpha Air, which is super watery and might take layer after layer, I noticed that this has a lot better coverage. So I ended up opting for Alpha Flex. All right, you guys don't have to do this. You could just get Alpha Air if you're using an airbrush, but this is just another way if you guys want to keep, you know, a little bit of money in your pocket. You can just get the water-based reducer, drop that in. It'll thin out this paint a little bit, and it should be thin enough for you to shoot it through your airbrush. All right. So, yeah, Graham said, "What's he hooping in AJ1s?" I would never in my life hoop in some AJ1s. Oh man, God, dang, are you serious? You crashed again, bro? All right, y'all, we're going to try this again. OBS, which is the system that I'm using, it keeps crashing on me. So I'm not sure if it's the computer that's having an issue or if it's OBS. I do know that I upgraded OBS the other day and I updated it. And you know how it is with updates. Sometimes you're going to update something and it ends up having bugs in it. So I'm going to find out this weekend, hopefully, and we'll get to the bottom of what's going on with the whole you know, OBS crashing and all my lives crashing. So again, today, guys, my apologies if for some reason I keep cutting out and I decide not to go back on, man. It's crazy. Oh, okay. So I just got somebody on the chat. LA1 Dub says it's OBS been crashing a lot. Oh, man, this is killing me, dog. All right, y'all. So thank you so much, LA1 Dubs. I appreciate that, homie. So OBS, the system that I've been using to go live, guys, has been crashing quite a bit. I just got some feedback from somebody. So if we crash again and again, it gets frustrating, y'all. So I might just, you know, call it a day. But hopefully we can get some artwork done today. You know what I mean? So it's the new update. Okay. Thank you, LA1 Dubs. Any way to get around that? Is there a way to revert back to the old? Maybe I shouldn't have updated. I shouldn't have updated. That's what I shouldn't have done. But all good. Anyways, let me just go ahead and put a link again because now I know the links probably all fell off. So I'm going to just grab this guy here real quick. And I'm going to, again, put the links up for you guys. This is the paint that I'll be using, the brushes I'll be using, everything pretty much will be there for you guys. If you want a discount, which I don't know who doesn't want a discount, all of my discount codes are there as well. So if you need Alpha Paint, there's a link there. You can use the code FEELGOOD for the discount. Again, just because we crashed, I'll just recap real quick. So far, I have used Alpha Flex Hot Pink and Light Blue to get these done. with a 2-to-1 ratio of flexible additive. I use that because homie's going to be balling in these shoes. Like Graham said, I would never ball in some AJ1s, but you know how kids are, man. Kids are different nowadays. They're all built different. They're all built like John Morant, and they can hoop in those kind of things, and it's not a problem at all. So this is kind of what I'm going to be trying to get to. Y'all see that Air Jordan Wings logo up here? And quite clearly, we've got a lot of work to do. So Graham, thanks for laughing. I think you're probably the only one who gets that, right? You're in my age bracket, that's why. So let me go ahead and I'm going to drop this guy here, and hopefully y'all could see the actual, what we're going to be working with here. You know what I mean? All right, let's jump into it. I already dropped some Alpha Flex black in here, and again, I added some flexible additive in there as well. That way it helps for the paint to stick. All right. So, man, the Wings logo is such a nightmare, I swear to God. But it's got to get done. So, again, I'm using a Princeton brush. This is a 20-0 Princeton detail brush. It's called a spotter. It's called a spotter for a reason, because it spots stuff. Nah, I don't know why it's called a spotter. But, it's called a spotter for detail work, I guess. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. What I'm going to do first is I like to probably concentrate on the basketball first. And so I'll try to just get the outline as close as I can. And if I get super quiet, y'all, you know why. It's because you got to be like so focused on trying to get these lines right. So what I like to do here is I like to try to get as close to the lines as possible and then fill in the middle. I feel like that's usually the best route for me. See, now I could fill in the middle here because that part's easy. The hard part is trying to get the initial line done. And notice how I have my pinky finger on here, and that's just for balance. Balance and control, actually. All right, so I got that first section done. Now I'm going to jump on to the next one. You guys can still see that Wings logo in the background, so as I run through it, the reason I have that one in the background, obviously y'all want to see what the product's going to look like at the end, but it's always nice to have like a reference so then you can see like exactly what you need to paint and you don't paint in the wrong sections, because I've done that before. Actually, I've done that live before. We painted a midsole incorrectly on a Jordan 3. You guys didn't call me out on it either. You guys just said, okay, cool. If you want to paint it like that. It was a restoration. It was a black cement 3. You guys see the brush is so thin that it fits in this small little pocket. So having the right brush size is absolutely crucial. Otherwise, you're going to be going back and forth quite a bit. And I mean, you can do it that way if you really want to. It's just, for me, I just try to get the right brush. It's like using the right tool, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to use a hammer for every single application when you're using tools, right? Sometimes you need a screwdriver. Sometimes you need a different version of a hammer. So having the right tools is essential for you to save time. I'm constantly moving the shoe around so I can get a good angle as well. And then sometimes I'll have a little additional paint left over. on the inside. So I'll just kind of grab it and swoosh it around, make sure that we fill in the spot as much as we can. You guys might see me blowing on this right after I'm done. I don't know if that does anything. I'm just used to doing it. But I do know that it, at the end it's nice and smooth. It's not bumpy, so I don't know, maybe that works, maybe that doesn't. Maybe that's like my superstition. But at the end of the day, the results are there, so that's a good thing, right? All right, so what are we, fifth panel in now? Fifth little basketball panel. Again, notice how I'm trying to get like right at the edge, trying to get that basketball outline on the inside right. And then you could fill in the spots, so forgive me guys, it's a little hard to do when I'm trying to do it live and I'm trying to do it without the stability that I usually have. We're getting there. Also notice how many times I dip in the dip for more paint. Okay, it's like I remember in the beginning I used to like wonder like how are people doing this without dipping so many times, but I think it's just natural, because your brush can only hold so much paint, especially when you got a smaller brush like this one. How are we looking, guys? LA1 Dub said, "Nah, those kids' feet be in pain when they get home in the car ride home, huh? Ain't no way I'm playing in J1s, exactly." and Graham, you remember when I messed up that day, huh? Almost a year ago. Mark the date, right? I think it was such a minor mess up that people didn't notice. Heck, I was live and I didn't even notice. Alright, so let's see. We're almost done with the basketball, right? That's pretty quick. Sometimes what I try to do is challenge myself and try to get this without hitting any of the lines that I'm not supposed to, which honestly I haven't passed that challenge yet. It's difficult, so if you keep in mind that you're gonna probably have to touch something up on the blue side, you won't stress out as much. And I noticed that, like, for example, right now I'm talking to you guys and I'm painting, and before, when I first started, dude, I used to hold my breath all the damn time. And I'd do that just because I was so nervous and so anxious, and I felt like, oh man, you're gonna mess up on something if you don't hold your breath. But now I kind of realize, dude, this is just paint. Like, if you mess up, you can just go over it. And I think that kind of mindset has really helped me to, not feel as much pressure when I'm painting small detailed things like this. So even if I mess up with you guys live, man, that's just life. I'm human too, right? Y'all got to give me a little bit of breaks. So that's the basketball filled in. So where are we at here? 11 minutes? Took me about 11 minutes. That's crazy. We could time it. Probably a little less. Rain in. What's good, man? How you doing, Alan? I ruined my ankles and knees running cross country and track. Oh man, that sucks. My hoop dreams died in college when I realized I was only 5'5" and the starting point guard was damn near 6 something. Yeah, for sure, man. I actually tried out for UC Santa Barbara's basketball team, and I made the final cut. And then I ended up getting cut right at the end because they were recruiting. I'm going to start with the wing section here, guys, as we keep going. They were recruiting two people from Thousand Oaks who ended up getting the positions that were open, and I was pretty devastated, man. I really tried hard, man. It's just disappointing to see when you have hoop dreams and they don't come to fruition sometimes. The only good thing about it is I still play basketball to this day, man, and it's kind of like my outlet for de-stressing and not like having to worry so much about life. What do you guys do to de-stress? I mean, this is one of the reasons I de-stress too, is I paint to de-stress. This is very soothing for me, actually. I love when I could just drop on some good music, relax, and come up with something creative. You can't beat that, man. Now, in case you guys think I'm doing pretty well so far, it's generally, I mean, yeah, it's obviously me, but it's not just me. It's the actual brush that I'm using. It's getting into these like very small, thin pocket areas, and I'm able to control it, and that's very clutch. You know what I mean? Alan, I think I recommended this brush to you before. I'm almost positive when we were talking about different detail brushes. And this is the brush. It's a little expensive, but you know what? Like, if it's a tool that I'm going to be using constantly and it's going to save me time in the long run, and as long as you take care of it, then that's an investment. At least for me, that's an investment, you know? This line is really hard. There we go. Well, I guess not that hard. Was hard. Got used to it. Well, I'm glad we found out OBS is what's crashing. Let me just check comments real quick, guys. Punky B, what's good, Punky? How you living, man? We got Punky B 203 over on Twitch. Real quick, guys. Today we're on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube as well. So say hi to each other, man. You guys are all on different kind of platforms today. I see. You know. Oh yeah, see GTC. You remember that? Was it a Black Cement 3? I feel like it was a Black Cement 3 that I had messed up on live. It's either a black. It was definitely a Jordan 3. Could have been a white cement, maybe. When you're old, you don't remember these kind of things. Either that or I'm trying to repress the shit. And none of these wings logos are supposed to be touching, so try my best to keep them away from each other, but still keep a nice fluidity to them. Alan, I just read your comment, man. What do you do, Alan? He said, I take off of work to distress. That's funny. Hell, I think everybody takes off of work to distress, Alan. I don't think you're the only one there. think we're all in the same boat there, man. All right, so I got the majority of this side done. And although it looks pretty good, I know that I still need to fill in the black a little bit more. But what I like to do is let it kind of simmer, let it marinate a little bit, let it dry out. And as that's happening, I can start on the other side. Yeah, it's no good to be living at work, Alan. That's for sure. Although we got to do it, right? Got to do it to survive. Unless you out here winning the lottery or something. When I'm doing these wings logos, I try to stay like laser focused, meaning not to have too many interruptions. When you have kids, that's a major interruption, yo. So usually I'll do this when they're not around or if they're sleeping or something. I just clean the brush off, okay? So notice that you should clean it off every now and again just to get a nice sharp tip again. If you guys just joined us, I'm using Alpha Flex Black, and I'm using the flexible additive as well. So then that way it keeps nice and strong on the shoe. Now before I wasn't using that flexible additive, and I noticed immediately the difference between the two because when I tried to clean my airbrush out, it was really hard to clean, which is not a bad sign because that means that it's already adhering. Prior to that, I felt like this paint was slightly weaker than some of the other paints I've used. So I contacted James. James is the owner of Alpha 6, and I asked him. And James was the one who said, hey man, you should use the flexible additive in all of your projects, especially because you're dealing with sneakers and they just have a tendency of, easily being creased. And especially if you're doing something like this where the kid's playing basketball in them. Just to show you guys where we're at here. The Dye Lab. What's good, homie? Oh man, that's crazy. You work for Canon? Hazmat materials team, bro. You about to come back glowing one day. You're like Homer Simpson at the nuclear plant. That's cool, man. How do you like the job? Besides it being like sounds like you live there quite a bit, so it means you're working a lot. It's not a bad thing. It means you're making some money. Unless they got you on salary, then they got you for a deal. They got you working that long. All right, so going back in here on the insides. The nice part about doing these wings logos is once you start to develop a little bit of a rhythm, it becomes a little easier. But nothing's going to be easier than you just continually doing it and practicing. It takes a little bit of time to feel your paintbrush. Just like with anything, it's just the practice that makes you better at what you're at. It's not going to just miraculously happen, you know what I mean? This This is way different than just painting panels. I'll tell you that. Painting panels, you can get away with little knickknacks and mess ups, but this is like people stare at the logo and can see how much time and dedication you put into it. Because of that, it's important to me, you know? Whew. How's that looking, guys? You know what, GTC Reels? I don't know if I'm fast, man. This is my first time actually technically being timed on this because we're going live. We're at 23 minutes right now. And I never really noticed if I'm fast or slow at it. But today we're going to find out how quickly we're going to get one of these boys done. And honestly, this is like, you know, the base part of it for me, because once it's all done, then I let it dry, and then I still grab my pen, and then I'll start to outline that to really get it to look nice and crispy. This is almost like just laying down the foundation for me. The funny thing is, I'm going to finish this thing up, and the kid wouldn't even notice if like I finished it up like this, or if I put in another like 30 minutes of work and try to really get it down right. He's probably gonna hoop in it and won't even notice. But this kid's got money, man. Like, you know how much these the sales run for now? Let me see. Let me show you what that is. I had the box here. One second. I'm going to show you guys. It's from StockX. $466.41 is how much this kid paid. And he is, from what I hear, he's like 10 or 11 years old. And he's going to hoop in them, by the way. He's not even like trying to flex in them. He's going to hoop in them. Well, I guess that's technically flexing in them, but that to me is nuts. I'm like, yo, my parents need to step it up when I was 10 now. If he's getting shoes like this, and then he's paying to get them customized too on top of that. That to me is nuts. Especially because the shoe is beautiful. Y'all saw what the sail color looked like on it before. Just a beautiful colorway. And the crazy part about it is they were just sitting. They were sitting in the malls. People were like just passing them up because they thought they were ugly. Now all people do is look for shoes with sail midsoles and sail colorways. Look at the, I don't want to butcher the name, but the Amama 3s, you know? Them things are super fire, dude. And I think they're running like $700-800 now. Look at all of the Union stuff that you see. They all have a somewhat of an influence of sail in them. What else has sail? What other? Of course, Virgil stuff has sail in it, right? The sail off-white 4s. So sail is the new trend, man. And I'm sitting here painting some sails. All right, so let's do this. Let's just get a nice border going on top here. This way I have an outline. I have an idea of like where it should stop and end. Oop, a little bit of a mess up there. I added a little too much paint. I guess that's a good time to tell you guys, as I'm adding this paint, I'm not putting too much on the tip of the brush. Just adding enough where I could see that when I lay it out, it won't like do what I just did, which is cause a splotch. So now I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna clean it off a little bit, because clearly I got too much paint on the tip end there, and that's gonna mess things up. All right, so right where the R is, let's see if you guys could even see it. Might be a little difficult to see. I just started the R there, and when I did it, it just like I just put a little too much black paint there. Easily fixable, but you know, again, if you want to just avoid it altogether, it's just take less paint on your brush. That's all. This process is time consuming, but it can be a lot more time consuming if you're not doing this carefully. Guys, I'll answer questions in a minute. Sorry, I just got really into it. Getting in between each letter is really tough. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. But as you get a little bit more experience, you'll almost have an idea of how much pressure to drop on your paintbrush, and then you'll drop less paint onto the actual panel at the same time. So then you can do things like make like nice thin lines. Like, let's see if I can make a nice thin line here. See how thin I can get. We can get there, you know what I mean? All right, so there we go. All right, so I'm gonna just take a quick little break, guys. That way I can see if I missed anything on the chat. And real quick, man, I want to say what's good to my boy Sky High, man. That is a name I haven't seen for a minute. Sky High, how have you been, bro? I have not seen you for the longest, man. I hope you're well. Blessings to you as well, man. I'm glad to see you back on, bro. We got the homie Domo. Domo the custom creator. What's good, homie? How you living? Let's clean that off a little bit. Let me just see what else we got here. I got like 8 of them sale ones for $120 at Foot Locker back then, bro. So think about that. They were going for $160 retail price plus tax. In Cali was $176 and some change, and you were getting them for $120. I was looking on eBay. You can get these joints for like $90, $100. People couldn't get rid of these shoes, and now I'm over here paying what, $466 for a GS pair. So you can only imagine the regular sizes 8 through 15 are probably easily in the $500 range. You know what I mean? So I tried to get some sales because I thought they would be under retail. Sadly mistaken. Yeah, they're not happening anymore, man. And plus, these are from 2017, so they're 5 years old now at this point. So for you to find a DS pair that's 5 years old is pretty tough in itself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, yep. He's about to be one and done on the court. LA1 Dubs, who you talking about? One and done on the court, bro. Oh, you talking about this kid? I hope not, man. And the sad part is he's probably not wearing no ankle braces and stuff with these, so it is what it is, you know? That and the black pair. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, the black pair, when I tried to find those, I did a pair for Penny Hardaway, in 2020. I found one size 14 and it was going for like $300. So the black pairs are very, very difficult as well, you know? Real quick, want to say what's up to Domo, the custom creator. What's good, man? How you doing? I hope you're good. Whoa! I just saw Chillin' Thanks blessed with a baby on the way. Let's go! Congratulations, man. I'm so happy to hear that, man. Is that your first Domo? Let me know if that's your first, bro. If it is, you're gonna love coffee after that. I'd say the first 6 months of having a kid, man, is life changing, bro. And I mean life changing because you ain't sleeping, homie. That's at least that's what I went through, you know. That's very challenging because when a baby's born, they're just like, yo, I don't really have a schedule. I don't know what this work thing you guys are talking about is. I'm gonna just wake up at like 3:30 and ask for milk. So that's gonna be your life if that's your first, bro. Well, even if it's not your first, but I'll tell you, there are such blessings too at the same time. To see you bringing life to the world is amazing. I love seeing the actual Wings logo getting filled in and feeling the joy of accomplishment, you know? This is probably one of the more challenging things, I think, for a lot of beginners in this game because they think like, oh, I want to do a custom. Okay, which base shoe should I do? Oh, I'm going to do a Jordan 1. And then they get to this part and they're like, damn, should have done a Jordan 3. Should have done anything else besides the Jordan 1. That or I'll see people will just leave this, you know, the same color as it is right now. Like they just leave it as a blue and not fill this stuff in. What we're working on right now on the Patreon channel is we're going to be filming on alternate ways on how you can fill this Wings logo besides painting it. So if you're part of the Patreon channel, you guys will be expecting that soon. Today we are uploading a new video, and that is this is going to be a really fun video for a lot of people, I think. And it is how to do a union zigzag stitch by hand. So I know a lot of you guys don't have like that zigzag sewing machine, and you don't necessarily need it. You know, you can do you can definitely do the zigzag stitch by hand, but just to complement that, you guys can actually make your own shoes by hand. You don't necessarily need a sewing machine. It's going to take longer, but once you guys see this video, you'll have an idea of how to set holes up in the shoes, and then you'll have an idea of how to do sewing patterns. And if you choose to, which I believe one of our Patreon guys, his name is Gio. He just mentioned it the other day. He said, I don't have a sewing machine. Is there a way for me to make my own shoe? So I said, you know what? There is, and I'm going to show you how to do it very soon. So we're supposed to do a paint tutorial again. We're jumping back and forth, like something reconstruction-wise, then something sewing-wise, and something reconstruction-wise. But because Gio had mentioned it, I said, you know what? Let's knock that one out real quick. And then for the guys who are interested in painting, which I know there's a lot of you guys, we're going to have another painting tutorial next, okay? And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which I'm sure some of you guys don't, we have a channel called the Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/feelgoodthreads. My boy Rainin right here just put Patreon fan because he's one of the Patreon members there. And I teach you guys advanced stuff on there. This is kind of like more simplistic, you know? And when I mean advanced, I don't mean like, oh my God, I'm going to have like tons of experience or anything. You don't have to have any experience. It's just more the idea of understanding the concepts of things. All right, so I'm pretty close, guys. I'm getting there. This is generally when I like to try to get as much of the black on there as possible. Get all the spots possible. And then after this, I like to go back in with the blue and start to clean up the black. It's almost like a two parts, process here to get this done. Unless you're that good where you could just knock it out with just the black paint. If that's the case, let me know, because I'm going to just send you all of my wings logos when I'm done. And you could just finish those parts for me, because I hate doing this. This part is really, really tedious, you know what I mean? I am Yevon. Thank you so much, man. This actually wasn't even my selection of colors, man. This was the kids' selection of colors. Actually, you know what? I have, let me show you guys this real quick. I have his actual mock-up, and I think I had brought that up last time. Let's see. But let me just show you guys. I don't have my iPad here today. That's because my young man, my boy, he always feels like he owns my damn iPad, so he's on it. But here's an idea of what he wanted the concept to look like. So this was his picture. He actually drew this out. Let's see this. He drew it out. So I still got to put his name, which is Cameron, the number 12. And he likes the Tampa Bay, I want to say Rays. Is it Rays? He's a baseball fan, so he wants a little Tampa Bay logo on the back. So he sent me this. Sorry, guys. He sent me that. And then I mocked it up so then it can look like this. And so this is where we're at right now. Pretty close, right? Just got to get the stencils and stuff ready next. But we're getting to that point where it's almost there. And thank God OBS has not crashed, man. So I think we're doing okay. All right, so I know that it has this little spot here on the top to fill the basketball up. And then same with this side too. Just a little gap here. All right, little mess up there. I'll fix it afterwards. But I mean, we've got the majority of this thing done. Where are we at now? 40 minutes. Now, Graham, I feel pressured to finish this because of what you said. Does that look like Air Jordan? Air. Alright, so I definitely gotta fix the J. J will need a little fixing. We got a lot of fixes. I could already see it. That's okay. We'll get that fixed. It's no biggie. All right, y'all. So real quick, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed that I've done this on YouTube before. It's never been live. It was just a tutorial. But if you haven't, I wanted to show you guys a trick that I like to do after this paint is dried, okay? So these guys right here are called Micron, Pigma Micron pens. And they're usually used for like anime, when people are drawing like animated cartoons, anything comic book related, things of that nature. Whenever they need to mark nice dark black lines that are thin. This one here is an 01. They do have smaller ones than this. 0.25 millimeters is what this guy is. Now, I'm not going to jump on it right away because this paint is still drying. So if it's drying, you don't want to touch it, all right? So I would put this one to the side, for example, right now. This one's already been done for like a day. This one's been dried. And so what I would do with this one is, then I would go in. Let me make sure this works. Yeah, okay, cool. So then I would go in and I would start to look for any smaller spots that can be detailed out. Because this can get into like the small, like little notches, like this R, for example. You can line out the letters, for example, and that really helps save a lot of time. So when you get good with this Micron Pigma pen, it's going to save you a lot of time. Additionally, people will not know that you're using it because it blends in very well. See all these little wings here? If I need to clean them up, make them nice and sharp, I can go through each one of these now and make them sharper. Okay, so that's just a trick of the trade. Now, when you're done using this, what you want to do is you want to seal. You want to make sure that none of the ink spills or gets, how do you say it, bleeds, right? So I usually top it off with some kind of a scratch resistant sealer. This is Liquid Kicks. I use this whenever I'm done with my projects because I want the paint to stay. It's a scratch resistant sealer as well. I did leave the link above. You can use my code FEELGOOD. Let me just for reference, I'll leave you guys the links again. There you go. And so then that way you can get all of the products you need today from start to finish, okay? Before I started painting this, by the way, guys, I did use a little bit of acetone and a cotton ball. Now, Graham made a great point when I was doing that. When you have shoes that are older, like 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, you usually don't want to use acetone because if you use acetone, this is super strong stuff. And what it does sometimes is it will peel the actual leather. And then you're going to be left with a whole different problem. You're going to be like, dude, this sucks. You know what I mean? Because now you have to figure out how do you clean that all up? How do you get the leather to look soft? When you paint it, is it going to look rough in that area? Stuff like that. So let me recommend one more thing to you guys. Give me a sec here. I know it's up here somewhere because I was using it the other day. Where did you go, buddy? Water-based sealer, no. Where are you? Leather coat, no. Leather and textile cleaner, no. Oh, awesome. So I have no freaking clue where it went. But okay, anyways, no, it's not there. Alpha Flex Alpha 6 has a similar bottle to one of these guys here, and it is like a preparer for shoes. I would strongly recommend you guys pick one of those up, just because what it does is the same thing as acetone. It'll clean off your shoe. It'll get it prepared for painting, but it will not strip so far into your leather where it's tearing the leather apart. Okay, so something you guys want to just kind of keep in mind is when you're done with these Pigma pens or whatnot, that you want to jump into it. Is gloss them over with something that will protect it. Okay, let me go back up real quick. I know I got a couple of people who had asked questions or had comments. Let me just make sure we're good. Mr. Lalo's in the building. Mr. ATL, what's good? How you doing, man? Domo said, oh, in 3 weeks. Nice, man. That's like right around the corner, dude. Hopefully you're excited, man. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, Domo. Mr. Rainin, Patreon fam. What's good? I am Evan. My stepkid is looking to customize his low Air Force Ones. Gonna see what he thinks of these. Oh, that's perfect, man. You know, this is actually gonna be on replay as well. So if you need help or whatever, you know, please feel free to DM me. I'm here to help you guys out, even after we're done with these live streams. But if you want to look this up, let's see. Are you okay? Cool. You're on YouTube right now, Yevon. So you can always replay this live stream. So if you guys want to see how to, you know, change colors, or if you needed to just kind of recap, this is it. You know what I mean? Lalo, good question. The tongue staying white? Nah, it's not, dude. I actually got let me show you guys some tags here. So I think I'm gonna go with this one here. Actually, if you guys need tags, let me know. I got some different color tags here. They are $29 shipped, and that comes with a pair. All right, so here we go. This is what I'm thinking for the tag. I don't have any pink tags, unfortunately, but maybe something like this is very close, because it's like a sail and it's got like a soft blue to it. So I had that. Here's another option. I don't know if he'd like it or not, but this would look kind of cool. This is from the Royal Ones. It's just a little bit too bluish, in my opinion there. So I got that one there. Here's another one, but obviously this won't go with it. But if you guys are interested in tags, Shattered Backboard. And then this one is from, it's like the Igloo one. What else I got? Band ones. Band red one, whatever you want to call it. And then I got the infamous Chicago one. So just some different options that I have here. If he doesn't like this blue one, man, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I got to talk to him about it, you know. But yeah, those are some options. Definitely red's going to look kind of funny, right? Because this has a, see, it has the red tag. And that's just the normal sail with the red. It's a nice tag. It's just, it doesn't go with this flow. You feel me? So let's see what else we got here. Yevon, by the way, what's another good paint brand besides Angelus? I see you got something different on the table. Okay, I think you just I think I answered that, but you might have came on a little late. I'm using Alpha Flex. So if you're looking for a good paint brand, Alpha Flex is great. Just make sure if you're getting Alpha Flex, you also get the flexible additive, which gives the shoes additional endurance and durability and strength. Because you said you have a stepson. I don't know how he's going to be stepping in his kicks, but you know, most kids, they don't care, dude. They just jumping in their shoes and that's it. You know what I mean? So let's see. This is kind of getting to that point where it's almost dry. I like that. Let me just go ahead and clean this off real quick. And I'm going to just brush up a little bit with the black paint. And then I'll probably get into the blue and start cleaning up the blue side. All right. So if you noticed, what I'm doing today is just a combination of going back and forth, back and forth. Today we start off with the black. And once you get the base of the black kind of done, then you can go back in and start working on the blue sections. So for example, the basketball here, just to get the lines nice and crispy. Again, if I wanted to, I can wait. I don't need to do it now. I can grab that pen, that Pigma pen that I just showed you guys, and you can also make all the lines crispy there like that too. So that's generally my go-to now, just because that's going to save a lot of time. The tip of that Pigma pen is a lot smaller than this brush here, even though this brush is very small in itself. That's why I tell you guys, use that pen, because You know, I've gotten so close to getting this pretty accurate, and that pen just kind of seals the deal. If you guys need a link to the pens, just let me know. You can DM me. I don't have the link on me right now. I didn't even think I'd be talking about it, but I guess I should have thought ahead. But with the way OBS is working nowadays, I don't even know if we're going to be having a session today, to be honest with y'all. Went over a little bit. And this is why I say you should just use the pens, because once you get a good accurate look, like the potential for me to mess these up is a little bit greater now. This eye is looking like too thick. So I'm gonna go in. Really, I'm trying to focus on finding where the parts are kind of depreciated, or not depreciated, but more like depressed in. And with that, you need good light. If you have good light, you can see which sections need to be painted and which ones don't. Oh, sorry guys, got completely out of focus there. All right, I'm gonna give that a little bit of time. While that's drying, what I'm gonna do is jump onto another brush, and let's go ahead and jump on that swoosh, because we have time for it. If you guys have questions, now's a great time. I'm gonna take a quick, maybe 30-second break before I jump into that swoosh. I'm gonna have to locate a brush that's big enough. This brush is way too small for the swoosh, you know what I mean? And so, let's see. GTC, I got those tags commissioned, dude. So it's the problem with that is you got to buy like 500 of them. So if you want to buy 500, I'll give you the info. Punky B, that's a good question. That's a great question. Why don't I ever use a heat gun? I feel like I never need to use a heat gun, because by the time the actual paint is dried, there's no reason to use a heat gun. It's already dried. And for me, I like to let things naturally cure. You feel me? Like, I feel like, why would you want to speed up the process of something that's already naturally curing? You don't have to do anything. It's already, it's to that point, you know? Like, if I wanted to, I could probably run my fingers across this in like 2 or 3 minutes and it'll already be dry. So why don't I just work on something else, like what I'm going to be doing right now? I'm just going to be working on this swoosh now, and not have to worry about, using a heat gun to get things to dry quicker than they should. Great question, man. I know a lot of people they like to rush the process, or they feel like, yo, that should be done. It's going to heat the paint and it's going to dry faster. But, for me, I just prefer that it just naturally dries. And from the feedback I've gotten from most people, they haven't had any cracking or anything. So a lot of people do complain about cracking when heat guns are used. For Liquid Kicks, he even, I think, says on his bottle, do not use a heat gun when you're using their product, because it actually interferes with the adhesion properties of their Liquid Kicks scratch resistant sealer. So something to just consider, If anything, what you should probably be doing is working on panel on panel on panel, like what I'm doing here, because by the time I'm done with this panel, for example, then I can move to the other side of the swoosh, and by the time I'm done with that second swoosh, this side will already be dry. So I could put on another layer with it until it's filled. Today we're working with black, so black fills in pretty easy. Watch, I'm pushing this out, by the way. You see this? I'm using my hand, and I'm pushing this out. And I'm doing that so, see, you can even see I missed some gray right there. But the reason I'm doing it here on the swoosh is because you want to try to get away from the rest of the panel. Just painting the swoosh. Oh, I forgot to mention which brush I'm using here, guys. This is a 1/4 inch Princeton Select. 1/4 inch Princeton Select. This is a flat angular brush, so look at the tip. You see how it kind of has one side is a little bit longer than the other? I like that because, see, for example, like right here, I can just kind of use just the tip here to get just the small sections, and I can kind of creep underneath. You see that? You don't need to use the whole brush. You can just use part of that brush. And that's a good thing, because now you're not sitting there constantly trying to switch brushes around. This works pretty well as a universal brush, overall. In fact, you could probably paint the whole shoe with this brush alone. All right, so let me push this back a little bit just so I have a little bit of room here, okay? Y'all could see what I'm doing. Again, see, I'm just using just the front tip end. I only dipped just the front tip end because this part of the panel is very small. No need to dip the whole brush in there. Try to get underneath. You see that? Look at how much you can accomplish with just a little bit of paint. All right, so this is Alpha 6, just black, regular black, and it's mixed with the flexible additive. The flexible additive is a 2-to-1 ratio. So meaning every 2 drops of paint, I'm adding 1 drop of the flexible additive, okay? Here's another reason why I use this brush. I'm just taking paint just on the tip end here again. And I got to get this little raw edge. Raw edges can be a little bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, depending on how they sewed the shoes up. So I'm just trying to get the raw edge here. What I'll be doing is using my pinky finger, and I'll be pressing down on the actual shoe. So that way I have a little bit of stability when I'm doing this. And I'll just graze the paint across the edges. You don't necessarily need to paint the raw edges. Just on this one I prefer to do it because I already did on the other one. See how I hold the pinky down? Gives me a little bit more control. I'm trying my best not to touch the blue panel that's behind it. Okay? So that's why, again, I'm going to press down with my pinky, get some stabilization there, and then I'll go ahead and go across that raw panel, see? The whole way through. Your goal here is to try to get a nice, clean, black line on the edge. If it's all wavy and shaky, you're going to be able to tell because you have a blue panel behind it. It's a nice light blue, and so everything is going to pop off of that. Y'all see that? See that? So now we got to do the same thing with the top end. With the top end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it out like this. When you push it out, it gives you less likelihood of getting on that blue panel. And it's a little bit easier to paint it too at this point. Again, guys, I'm just using the front end tip here. And I'm just loading it with a little bit of paint. Not a ton of paint, because if you do that, you're going to get a big glop on the front end, and then you're going to be pissed off because you hit the blue panel. And honestly, I hate fixing stuff that I don't have to fix. There you go. It's pretty quick, right? So that's one swoosh down already. What do you guys think? Lalo, good question, man. I just saw that you're possibly working on some Timberlands. Are you doing nubuck Timberlands, leather? Like, what's the material you're working with? When I think Timberlands, I think of those old school boots, the wheat color ones that like all the East Coast Wu-Tang rappers and everybody used to wear. Is that what you're talking about? Punky B, what do you mean? You said I know if I don't use one I would smear the work I just did because I'm clumsy. Bro, you think you're clumsy, bro? I'm the king of clumsiness. And so like when I go live, it's even more nerve-wracking for me because I'm like, dude, I gotta really try my best not to mess up. And so I'm trying to keep organized, but halfway through I'm losing stuff. Like, remember the other day, yesterday, or the other day when I was painting these live, I lost my damn iPad in the middle of the damn session. I'm like, where the hell did it go? And then I find it later in a drawer. All right, y'all. So this is pretty much done. Now I got to repeat the same process on the other side with the other swoosh too. There we go. How's that look? See, I get all the edges right. Sometimes I'll have a little bit of extra paint. I'll just try to make sure that I eliminate that. I don't want to, kind of like a little bulky area of paint for no reason. So if I see that, I'll just brush it down a little bit. Especially if it's in the thread area. The thread areas tend to catch that paint easily. And when it catches easy, then you can see it gets like really clumpy looking. And I don't want that. I want it to look factory. So just going through and just running and making sure they're all nice and clean. All right, Punky B. So check this out, man. No paint. It's because it's dry already. See? So why do I need to use a heat gun? There's no point. You know what I mean? Alright, so that's pretty much the finished product. I got some small stuff to do, which is put some stencils on these guys. Still, I've got to, what else I got to do? Put stencils on these guys. I got to change the tongue tag up. I got to obviously clear coat everything up. This is kind of cool. I wish he would have kept it like half this and half that, but it's all good. That's what he wanted. So I'm just here to do the work. I'm just glad he picked some decent looking colors, man. These kids nowadays, man, be picking some weird colors. I want brown, green, and orange. Bro, that doesn't sound like it looked good at all. Brown, green, and orange? You trying to like go hunting or what? First layer, guys. I'm knocking this out with this alpha paint. It's very how do you say it? Just covers really well, I guess. No other way to put it. On the threads, I always kind of shake it up a little bit. You see left and right, left and right, left and right. When you do that, it just kind of helps get any of the gaps that you're missing. A lot of times, because the thread, it pushes the leather in, you'll have a little bit of a gap in those spots. So you just want to make sure that as you run through your custom, you're getting all those little spots. You don't want to have like a white thread that's kind of jumping out versus all of the other ones that are like, a full black swoosh, as an example. All right, so this one's almost done too. So when I finish this up, I think we're gonna take questions, guys, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I think we've been on for quite a bit, hour and 8 minutes, not too long, not too short. And maybe next time I could jump on, we can do some stencil work, and I could finish these up with you guys. Notice I'm just taking enough where I could spread that paint across. Not taking too much, just enough where I know, like, it's almost like a peanut butter sandwich, right? You're not gonna go take clumps and clumps of peanut butter and drop it on your bread and then take off the excess, right? You're just gonna take enough out of that jar so you know, like, okay, that'll spread well. I know everyone's a little different. Hopefully you guys aren't like dropping a grip of peanut butter on your sandwiches and you don't get the reference. But in general, you just want to make sure you're putting enough in the area there. All right, so again, this is very thin, so I'm just trying to get in here and eliminate any brush strokes, any brush lines. It's like one of my pet peeves is having brush strokes and brush lines at the end of my custom here. So all right, that looks pretty good. Side still wet, right? It's still kind of marinating. So as that happens, now I'm going to just jump on the actual edges again. See if I can get you guys a good angle there. I'm just using the edge here, okay? Just the front end. Not dipping too much paint on there, and I'm just going right across. When you get good at this, you won't be nervous when you do it. When you first start, you're going to be hitting the damn back panel over and over and over, and you're going to be frustrated. So just giving you a heads up. Part of the process of learning. So I'm going to push this out again, okay? Make sure you got a clean hand when you do this because white liner, right? You don't want to get paint on the inside there. Push it out and just graze that line. I love how I had AirPods in the whole time and haven't listened to one song. Got a little bit on the blue there. That's like Grand Theft Auto wasted. I'll clean it up. It's a cleanup. I added too much paint and it sucked in. I'll see my little blip. Where's that little blip? Right there. I don't know if y'all could see that or not, but it happens. Hey, brown, green, and orange sound like them passport dunks coming out next week. I haven't seen those, man. I haven't seen those yet, Graham. Capo, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, homie. Punky B said there's no such thing as too much peanut butter. Punky B, the kind of guy who puts peanut butter on his pizza. All right, this is the last little section, y'all. Last little section, then I gotta hit the gym up today. Why? Because I tell myself I'm gonna hit the gym up every day and I never do it. Sheer laziness. Sheer laziness, yo. I can go, but I will find 101 excuses not to go. Oh, you gotta clean inventory up. You gotta do orders. You gotta. You don't want to take care of your health. Is what it really gets down to. Done. He said they're gross. Well, I mean, shit. If I just said those colors and I was making them up and they sounded gross in my head. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could probably make them look hot if you had like, like an undefeated theme where they have like the olive camo-ish green with neon oranges and maybe some hits of brown. But I just threw some random colors out there, to be quite honest. All right, there we go. Whew. Another shoot pretty much done, guys. All right, y'all. Well, it looks like OBS is working again, which is great news. I'm glad to find out from the homie LA that it's not my computer, so that's a great thing. But this is where we're at today. We're about an hour and 15 minutes in. Today we started to paint the Jordan 1 Wings logo. Painted 2 swooshes as well. And next time I see you guys, I think we can do is drop the logos on. So I've got to drop his name down here. I've got to drop the number 13 here. And I've got to drop a Tampa Bay logo because he's a Tampa Bay fan there. Additionally, I got to still clean this guy up. So let me leave you guys with a good look at what that Jordan logo looks like now. And hopefully you guys could remember it, and we can probably work on this a little bit more tonight and get this bad boy down as much as possible, get it to look nice and crispy. And so when I see you guys next time, we'll finish up with the logos, the stencils. Maybe tomorrow, man. If I have time tomorrow, we could jump on it tomorrow. I just read your comment, Graham. It reminds me of Ron Burgundy smoking a cigarette with like a brown, orange, and green plaid suit or something. You know what I mean? So tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like the colorway? He chose the colorway. I think it reminds me of like the Miami City jerseys a little bit. So when I finish these bad boys up, I'll show you guys the final product, and hopefully you guys learn something today, man. That's really the point of me being online, because I could just be doing this at the house and not having to do any of this. With that said, guys, if you haven't followed me on social media, all my social media is up top right there. YouTube.com/feelgoodthreads. My TikTok and my Instagram, they're the only ones that are feelgoodthreads LA. Thank you guys so much on Instagram. We've been getting a crazy amount of likes and followers lately. We just hit over 10,000 followers. It's still not the 80,000 that was like the last account that we had, but we're getting up there, and I really appreciate you guys in general just for mentioning my name, mentioning the brand, and just being here with me today. I really appreciate y'all. If you guys would like to donate, of course, man, we love to take your donations, because things like my computer going out or lighting or sound, there's always some kind of an issue. So whatever money you guys can give for a donation, I always use that money to try to revamp and make this a better experience for you guys, okay? What else? Oh, Patreon peoples, thank you guys. I never can forget you guys. I love you guys. If you guys would like to join us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/feelgoodthreads. Today, Alex just uploaded a new video, and that is how to do a zigzag stitch, like a union zigzag stitch on Jordan 1s by hand. So you don't need any kind of an actual sewing machine or anything of that nature. I'll show you all the tools that we use. Before that, what did we do? We had another reconstruction video. Man, I forgot what the other reconstruction video is. But anyways, it's a combination of reconstruction videos. Any of you guys know? One of you guys, GTC guys? Oh, thank you so much. Yo, Graham, I really appreciate that, man. Graham just said he's ready. By the way, Graham is one of our Patreon family members as well. We got a lot of family members over here, man. We got the homie Alan in here as well, Lalo in here. If you guys are Patreon fan, man, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are like some of my #1 supporters, man. So thank you guys. My guy Draper, what's good, homie? How you living? You caught us on the tail end today, bro. Glad to see you on though, man. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys very soon. I know I talk your ear off. I'm glad you guys listened, and I love you guys. I'm out of here. Peace.